I'm really thrilled to bring you greetings from my boss, the Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan. He asked me to thank each and every one of you for your collective efforts. And I also want to begin by commending all of you for coming together today. As Lori just made abundantly clear, you're here for all the right reasons. You're here because you understand that now, more than ever before, the strength of this nation depends on ensuring excellence and equity through our systems of education. So too do the prosperity of our states and the ability of individual Americans to succeed in today's global economy. And you've committed to making a difference for the future of this valley. You're here because you know you can accomplish so much more together than any single organization can do alone. You're here because you're determined to build a more comprehensive plan of action for cradle to career education reform in this region, and to fully implement that plan. I'm here in Aspen today for one simple reason. I'm here to move you. Now, I use that word in the fullest sense. First, I want to touch your hearts and support the good instincts that brought you together in the first place. I want to affirm from the depth of my experience as a lifelong educator, but also as a parent and grandparent and fellow citizen, that what you're undertaking, though challenging, is some of the most important work that any community can do. It speaks volumes that you're already engaged. You've already engaged more than 60 nonprofits, 4 school districts, and a host of business and civic partners in a drive to secure equality of opportunity and economic vitality in this increasingly diverse community. And I want to confirm from my 4 years' experience in the Obama administration that your plan to transform this 180-mile corridor of the American West is a vital part of a nationwide revolution in education reform. I also want to point out some of the ways our federal efforts might complement and further yours. But there's another way in which I want to move you. At the end of the day, I want you to leave your seats and take to the streets of this community with such momentum, clarity of purpose, and certainty in the right that not one of you will stop until you've achieved your collective goal, until you've built a comprehensive cradle career system for all students, from Aspen to Parachute. Most of all, I want to move you because what you're doing for this community, and especially for the more than 22,000 children of unlimited potential, you will help preserve the American dream for all of us, for generations to come. In fact, much of President Obama's powerful second inaugural address could serve as the keynote for your work, as he reminded us, we the people understand that our country cannot succeed when a shrinking few do very well and a growing many barely make it. We believe that America's prosperity must rest upon the broad shoulders of a rising middle class. We know that America thrives when every person can find independence and pride in their work, when the wages of honest labor liberate families from the brink of hardship. And last Tuesday, the President continued those themes in the State of the Union address and described how government can open the doors of opportunity to every child and their parents. That's what you have committed to do here in the greater Roaring Fork Valley. You understand, as outside observers or casual visitors might not, the more complex reality behind Aspen's glittering image as a renowned resort, a playground for the globe-trotting rich and famous. You're not content with mere appearances, refusing to defend the status quo. This community is reaching out a helping hand to the children of the unemployed, underemployed, and underserved, those struggling to learn a new language and culture, families striving to escape from poverty and hardship. You realize that the untapped human resources in this valley surpass even the breathtaking natural resources. And I have to applaud your courage and your commitment to the founding values of American democracy. The same values prompted President Obama, soon after taking office, to issue a bold challenge. By 2020, the U.S. will once again have the most educated, most competitive workforce in the world. By decade's end, he wants to regain our place as the nation with the world's highest proportion of college graduates. Here's how the noted New York Times columnist Thomas L. Friedman summed up our challenge in a recent editorial. He wrote, "The truth is, if you want a decent job that will lead to a decent life today, you have to work harder, regularly reinvent yourself, obtain at least some form of post-secondary education, and make sure that you're engaged in lifelong learning." Because, he added, technology and globalization are wiping out our lower-skilled jobs faster while steadily raising the skill levels required for new jobs. More than ever, he said, lifelong learning is the key to getting into and staying into the middle class, in the middle class. In short, we must lower the dropout rate, raise the college completion rate, narrow the opportunity and achievement gaps that now exist for many learners, based purely on differences in race, income, or zip code. And mere tinkering won't do. We must make dramatic gains towards each of these ends. At the Department of Education, we're focused on creating a culture of lifelong learning that extends far beyond high school for learners of any and every age. We're focused on creating seamless systems that offer clear and customizable paths to the skills and credentials learners need to achieve their goals, pathways that will allow them to keep skilling up over the course of their careers. To achieve the 2020 completion goal, 10 million more Americans will need to earn college degrees, but the goal is not just about a graduation rate or a single cohort of students. It's about honoring Horace Mann's definition of education as the great equalizer. The 2020 goal is about democratizing excellence through education. And as you've realized, this will require the resolve of our entire nation and the best efforts of every state and region in America. As Ernest Boyer, the former head of the Carnegie Foundation, noticed, it is impossible to have an island of educational excellence in a sea of community indifference. Years ago in Rhode Island, I was pursuing my master's degree in education and searching for my niche in the field. And a professor advised me to visit what was then called the Urban Educational Center in downtown Providence, Rhode Island. This inner-city education institution was founded after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, and to continue his campaign for civil rights in his crusade against poverty. From the moment I walked through those doors, I knew I had found my life's work. The first programs I worked helped low-income, minority, and first-generation youth and adults transition to college. And I learned right away that collaboration matters. There's a long-standing joke among cynics that collaboration is an unnatural act between two or more non-consenting partners. But that hasn't been my experience. And I see it's certainly not true in this community. In fact, coordination by a broad and inclusive group of stakeholders, early learning care providers, K-12 and post-secondary institutions, community-based organizations and social service groups, business and labor partners, and nonprofit and government entities, just to name a few, they're key to a successful education reform. In my experience, there's no better way to address a community's need systemically across the entire pipeline to meet the needs of the whole learner or to address the requirements of employers and fuel the local and regional economy. And let me commend you for choosing ACF to facilitate this work. I understand that the ACF board approved this effort in 2011, and that as a group you've been winning supporters and building your plan ever since. I'm honored to share the agenda today with Eric Nee and a very impressive roster of experts. You're wise to seek guidance and practical examples from so many exceptional thinkers and doers, and I hope you'll continue to seek out evidence-based reforms from practitioners all across the country and to adapt, and scale up what's working. Over the course of the day, you'll explore the collective impact model and how to deploy yourselves strategically as a group. You'll examine specific programs and practices with a proven track record in increasing student achievement across entire communities. You'll consider ways to secure and coordinate funding from a variety of public and private sources to help fuel your efforts. In my experience, the success of any partnership depends on the degree to which the partners develop a shared vision, as well as common definitions, priorities, progress measures, and desired outcomes. And in these challenging fiscal times, it's more important than ever to align resources, identify any gaps, and ways to fill them, and deploy all your partners strategically. It's also essential to evaluate your progress regularly, use data for continuous improvement, and communicate effectively with the community about results. Conveners like ACF can help partnerships to do all of this and more. So let me thank ACF for stepping into this vital role and for bringing so many partners together. Thank you. Now, because of my background and experience, I'd like to suggest you consider 2 additional factors in your plans. First, I know you intend to make family engagement a key part of your efforts, and I hope you'll incorporate the needs of adult learners whenever possible. Parents can serve your efforts in several ways: as partners in learning, as advocates and advisors who push for reform, and as decision makers who choose the best educational option for their children. But this means providing opportunities, particularly for hardworking parents in low-income communities, to also learn and gain new skills alongside their children. There are few more inspiring role models than a parent with the courage to go back to school, strengthen his or her English language or literacy skills, and seek further job training and credentials. Not surprising, a study by the University of Michigan's Institute for Social Research found that increasing parents' education levels had a positive impact on their children's success in school. So please consider support for parents as learners in your plans and in the partners you recruit. Second, I understand that one of your roundtable convenes partners that serve children from birth to age 5, while a second convenes partners that serve school-age youth from 6 to 18. But I urge you to address the entire P20 spectrum, and Lori mentioned that this morning. So students truly do transition seamlessly from preschool to elementary, from elementary to middle school, from middle school to high school, and from high school to post-secondary education. Be they focused on earning an employer-recognized certification, an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, or an advanced degree. I also urge you to emphasize programs and practices, from dual enrollment to articulation agreements, that allow students to accelerate their progress through the pipeline. For example, I was delighted to learn that you already partner with the Colorado Mountain College and the University of Colorado on the pre-collegiate program, which helps low-income and minority students to be the first in their families to attend and complete college. I hope you'll build and expand on this efforts. What's more, just last month, our department announced that 5 states, including Colorado, were chosen for a 2-year project called Advancing Career and Technical Education in State and Local Career Pathways Systems. Our office is contracted with Jobs for the Future to manage this project and will offer significant technical assistance to help participating states build capacity to offer rigorous career and technical education programs of study. By this I mean programs that help students master 3 types of skills: academic skills in a career pathway, academic skills, technical skills in a career pathway, as well as the transferable career skills that characterize today's knowledge worker. Each state will have access to an experienced coach and subject matter expert to help them develop and implement their action plan. I hope your partnership will connect with and be part of this initiative, and I'm happy to make the introductions for you. In fact, as you think about strategic goals and resources today, I hope you'll consider making some of our federal programs and resources part of the equation. This could mean applying directly for new federal funds, where where our initiatives match your goals. It could also mean building ties with existing federally funded partnerships or connecting with state agencies on the resources and programs they administer. I'll give you a few brief examples, and then I'll provide further information to John for you to explore in the future. There's no doubt that the best ideas come from the field, from partners and practitioners like you, but the federal government must play its part by supporting high standards and common definitions, providing incentives for reform, and helping to scale up what works. For instance, studies show that supporting high-quality early learning is one of the best investments we can make. Strong systems of early education and care equip all children, especially our nation's most vulnerable, to succeed in school, and it sets them on a path to graduate high school and college. During the State of the Union, President Obama proposed expanding preschool for all by working with states to make high-quality preschool available to every child in America. We've also launched an unprecedented partnership between the Departments of Education and Health and Human Services. Our agencies jointly administer the new Race to the Top Early Learning Challenge grants, which fund statewide efforts to build high-performing early learning systems. As you may know, Colorado is one of the 14 states to receive such a grant. Just this winter, Colorado won $29.9 million to support high-quality early childhood education initiatives throughout the state. I hope you'll coordinate your work closely with the states and help ensure that Colorado's overall plan reflects the needs and responds to the challenges you experience at the grassroots level. Colorado also just completed the first year of 4 years of a federal Race to the Top grant. The total grant will bring the state roughly $18 million to advance targeted K-12 reforms and improve student achievement, with most of the funds flowing to the local level. Another source for effective approaches and potential funding is the federal Promise Neighborhoods Initiative. This competition provides planning and implementation grants for whole communities to build comprehensive systems of community services, family supports, and education reform in order to improve the education and life outcomes for children and youth from birth all the way through college and careers. There's also the Race to the Top district competition. This program offers awards to individual districts rather than statewide systems. Grants focus on classroom-based reforms, especially those designed to transform the learning environment and enable students to receive higher quality and more personalized instruction. Just like you, communities across America are coming together to begin the work of democratizing excellence by ensuring that every student, regardless of race, income, or zip code, receives a great education. This is both an economic necessity and a moral imperative. Our shared future depends on our ability to master the demands and seize the opportunities of the 21st century. So let me close as I began by citing the President's second inaugural address and the challenges to which we Americans all must rise. As the President explained, what makes us exceptional, what makes us American, is our allegiance to an idea articulated in a declaration more than 2 centuries ago. Today, we continue a never-ending journey to bridge the meaning of those words with the realities of our time. For history tells us that while these truths may be self-evident, they have never been self-executing. I believe the President was right to say that you and I, as citizens, have the power to set this country's course. He was right to name as our generation's task the goal of making these words, these rights, these values of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness real for every American. Let me close there, and with the hope that I have indeed moved you to focus relentlessly and to partner tirelessly on behalf of your students and families. And that at least I hope I've shared a few ideas that can contribute to your success. And now I'm eager to hear your ideas and questions, and we'll turn it over to you, John. Thank you very much.